Hello, love. Welcome, Empath Starseed, Empathic Starseed, to your collective energy update support message in alignment to the timely aspect of what's going on right now with regard to this solar eclipse coming up February 17th, 2026. This is a solar eclipse happening in the sign of Aquarius. This is also a kind of amplified new moon as well in Aquarius. And we are bringing in the energy here of the Venusians, channeling the energy of the Venusians here, wanting to come in to speak to right relationship, as Aquarius is the sign that is connected to our broader relationships with people. So we're going to look at it from a broader perspective and then sort of distill it down to some of the more intimate aspects of relationship as well. The Venusians, if you are new to this channel, the Venusians have been coming through a lot lately, the last few months, to speak of right relationships specifically for empaths and starseeds. Really important. This particular portal of an eclipse energy is really amplifying this. And so that's why they want to come through to bring this message of support. I'm also being guided by them to say that if you identify with being a Venusian starseed, a Pleiadian starseed, a Hadarian starseed, this message is also going to be specifically attuned to you. And even I'm hearing light workers of love. Okay, so we're kind of expanding on this a little bit. That's what they want to bring through. Remember, these messages are always timely yet timeless for whenever they find you and you find them, because it goes both ways. So we're going to be asking here, what needs to be cleared or transmuted whenever you find this particular message? And upon this new moon energy, this solar eclipse energy moving forward, what kind of seeds of intention are needing to be sown in a way when it comes to how to bring in these new right relationships or soul aligned relationships, because that's really what we're talking about here. I'm going to be asking through Rebecca Campbell's Starseed Oracle, the Energy Oracle cards by Sandra and Taylor. All that information is in the description box below. The Love Oracle cards, we're going to get to that near the end, because that's going to focus very specifically on more intimate relationships. They want to bring in a message on that. And I'm also going to be clarifying a little bit with the Everyday Witch Tarot, the mini Everyday Witch Tarot. We're going to start, though, by setting the stage with the Energy Oracle cards, okay? So as we move into this message, I'm going to also bring in the crystal energies here now, too, working with the energy of this little black tourmaline and this big chunk of rose quartz. What I'm hearing them say is like, this is like the pocket tourmaline, putting this in your pocket. Tourmaline, black tourmaline, is an excellent crystal for empaths to work with in terms of transmuting energies and also creating a shield of protection in your auric field, a shield of filter, a sovereignty shield, as I like to put it, because when we start to reframe protection with sovereignty, it takes a whole other frequency. I'm just going to bring that in really quickly. That's a topic for another occasion. And this chunk of rose quartz, working on heart healing, the higher heart space as well. These two particular crystals, when you work with these two crystals together, this is a great way to understand the nature of healthy boundaries, understanding as well what energies are yours and what energies are not yours. Okay, so we're going to start by asking through the Energy Oracle cards here. What's asking to be cleared or transmuted right now with the Empath Starseed Collective, and specifically, like I said, Venusian Starseeds, Pleiadian Starseeds, Hadarian Starseeds, and light workers is what they're saying. Third chakra, Archangel Shamuel, and I'm hearing with that clearing out the energies of compromised will. We're going to get to that in a second. We've got the financial constraints in reverse coming out as well. That's the number 13. The death card key number there. The death card has been showing up a lot lately, which is fitting because we're moving into eclipse season. So we're always talking about closing out cycles, ending something, whether it's a relationship, whether it's simply what they're saying to me, something that is no longer in alignment with your soul path and journey, and a new beginning that wants to come in, okay? And we've got the Magician and the Mirror coming out in reverse. 53, the number 8. That is the Strength card in the Tarot and the Major Arcana. And also they're directing me again back to the 37 here, which is a 10. That is the Wheel of Fortune as well in the Tarot. Let's see what we've got at the bottom of the deck. Envy is at the bottom of the deck. 20. Okay, so obviously we're talking, this wants to come out as well. Woman holding a coin in reverse, number 42. 6. So 6 is always the energy that's connected to Venus and the Venusians and bringing back harmony and balance, okay? They're reminding me that right before I started this reading, I saw 222 on the clock. And now this number 20 is coming in to reinforce that. So 2 is the number of relationship. Me and you and something else. 2 different entities interacting with each other. It is with the 2 that we establish relationship as we move away from the 1. And what I'm hearing with that is the necessity of exercising healthy boundaries when it comes to our energy and workspace is specifically what I'm hearing. So what's asking to be cleared or transmuted right now is any kind of excess energy that you are potentially giving away to someone or something that is not valuing it, okay? This could be someone that perhaps is envious of what you're doing. This could be someone that perhaps, this is a hard thing to kind of navigate, 707 on the counter as we talk about this, because on the one hand, what I'm getting with that is I'm picking up on a lot of empathic understanding around, well, this person has had it difficult or they've had challenges and you wanting to help them in that. But what the energies here in support of our highest and greatest good are wanting to really reiterate here is that that's not your responsibility, especially when this particular person is functioning within a frequency that can actually sort of hold you back, take up too much of your time, okay? Now, remember that we've got to look at something like an emotion like envy also kind of sits on a spectrum is what they're showing to me. They're bringing in a lot of consciousness around this, right? Like understanding around this in terms of sometimes envy sits on a spectrum where someone else looks at something and may feel like, you know, I don't have that in my life and I want that. But they're showing me actually that that's very different. Okay, so it's one thing, and how to reframe that is really important. So maybe some of us now in the collective are also going through that too, where we are looking at someone else and thinking, why am I not where that person is at yet? Or in relationship, we're doing that as well. And it's very important that we understand where that's coming from within each and every one of us. So some of that is asking for some shadow work to be done. Journaling is really great for that, or just talking it out to yourself, you know, like talking to your guides or talking to someone you trust about it, you know, and how to transmute that energy in terms of tapping into your own power, which brings me to the 3rd chakra here with Archangel Shamuel and the energy of willpower. Okay, so one thing that empaths do experience when incarnating here on Earth to a certain degree is the compromised energy of the will because of their focus on external relationships so much. They're just oriented to that. And sometimes what that can do is it can hold us back in terms of making decisions that are actually good for us, okay? Specifically around aligning to the things that we want with this Magician and the Mirror, and to abundance, to having certain kind of energies. And actually they're correcting me here. They're talking around lack. So this is more of an energy of lack, feeling like, for example, you don't have enough. The beautiful thing is that for these to be coming out in reverse, this is exactly what we're transmuting. This is exactly the energy that we're transmuting. Constraints around feelings of lack, feelings of not having enough, feelings of not being able to align to the frequency of abundance. And a really, really simple way to do that is to just look at everything that you have already around you, no matter what that is, and showing love and gratitude for those things. Seeing abundance in everything you do. Mother Nature, Mama Gaia, is a perfect example of that. Look at what she does, right? In terms of what she provides. And also understanding that you and your frequency and your alignment to certain things is the key to everything, with this Magician and the Mirror coming out in reverse. So there's going to be some kind of connection here between releasing these limiting concepts, releasing a kind of lack mentality, or looking at things through the lens of lack, and how that's going to open our eyes with the solar eclipse to seeing where we have blocked ourselves and taking accountability for our own energy. Okay. And one of the things they're also wanting me to reiterate here with 53, which reduces again to the number 8, which can be connected to the energy of the self, right, in a higher octave, is that when you come to realize this, you also see how the relationships that you're holding on to in your life that you know energetically are either, I'm going to put it this way, holding you back. They're putting you in a reduced state is how they're showing it to me. You're going to see very clearly how that is on you in a good way. In a way where you understand you're in control. You can choose. Because you make the choice to clear that energy, right? And very specifically for some of you, this may be around a woman who is perhaps more focused on the material world around you. It could be an earth sign, woman holding a coin. This could be a woman who sees things a little bit too practically as well. A feminine energy that sees things in terms of restraint, going back to this financial constraint coming out here in reverse, okay? I'm going to move on now to see what the Starseed Oracle has to say. What's asking to be cleared here and transmuted? And what are we aligning to, okay? Because it's important to understand that once we clear or transmute energy, we are then setting the intention, that's what the Starseed Oracle wants to say here, to what we're aligning to next. You got the love, Hadarian energy, codependency, and boundaries. This is a confirmation that those of us who identify with being Hadarian Starseeds, with the Hadarian energy, this is very much a confirmation of things are on the right track in terms of you understanding and learning how to, I'm hearing, exert or put into place or exercise healthy boundaries. Boundaries that are in alignment with self-love and self-care. Boundaries where you are honoring your value and what you bring to a relationship. So what's being asked here to be transmuted, and this goes back to the financial constraints coming out in reverse, what's being asked here to be transmuted is the energy of feeling not appreciated. Isn't that interesting? And the word appreciate, and when we talk about value and appreciation and the appreciation of value, what this Hadarian energy is bringing in is that the more that you remain in a connection where you are not being valued or appreciated, your energy then depreciates. And it's not allowed to appreciate, it stagnates. It sits in stagnation is what they're showing me. And they're also bringing in that if you are in a particular situation where perhaps it's difficult, they're showing me specifically a work situation where perhaps you need to stay in this particular situation for some reason. They're also showing me family with that. I'm hearing the ties that bind and how becoming an emotion alchemist, which is what empaths in their highest octaves are, means that you are still perhaps in an environment where these people or this relationship, so to speak, exists, but you are no longer funneling any more energy or attention to it. And that is emotional mastery. That is alchemical. That is the mastery of you not giving any more energy or attention to this. And I'm being reminded of that phrase, like people living rent-free in your mind, where it's like you're constantly going over situations or relationships with this particular person or these people, and yet they're not even thinking about it. Like you're allowing that to take up time and energy and space, essentially in your energetic field. It's about creating, like I'm hearing, when we talk about boundaries, it's about what are you giving your energy to? How much energy and time are you giving to this particular situation? It's as simple as that. That's what's being asked to be transmuted and changed here. And with these solar eclipse energies, there is a supportive environment to begin anew in this respect. Okay, we've got Hiraeth at the bottom of the deck, longing for home, homesick for the stars. What this is showing me is that when we begin to let go, release, transmute the energies and the connections that are no longer ours, they're no longer in alignment with who we are and who we are becoming and the energies that we're embodying and where we're going, we then by default align to the right kind of relationships, to soul family, to those people who feel actually like real home to us. And that's a huge synchronicity coming through there, because that's something that recently came up. I don't know what I was doing. I was doing something and I was like, this is what home is now, right? Because old ideas of home no longer exist, so to speak, from previous relationships, where we may have said to ourselves, this person feels like home to me. Well, now you've grown and you're evolving. So that idea of home now is changing. And it's more about the energy that you're now embodying. So what does home feel like now for us? It feels like right relationship. It feels like people who acknowledge our energy, acknowledge the true essence of who we are, our authenticity, and they want to, I'm hearing like prop that up, and they want to help hold that up, and they want to help nourish that, not take from it anymore. Okay? That's beautiful. Okay. So I'm going to ask now from these love oracle cards specifically with regard to, again, what wants to be cleared and transmuted, and what's the best way to align to the energy. Whoa! It's like tons of cards coming out of this new moon / solar eclipse that's coming up now, okay? And whenever you find this message, all right, the timely yet timeless aspect of this message, I like you. This goes with Hiraeth. I like you. This is about that kid-like energy of like when you meet someone and right away you just know. You're like, I like this person. Their energy feels good to me. I want to be friends. Let's be friends. It's that type of energy. We've got the Phoenix coming out, which is very fitting. It fits in perfectly with this solar eclipse new moon energy, new phase. I'm hearing rekindling your energy with this, okay? Renew, transformation, growth, and changed mind. This is what this solar eclipse is bringing in for a lot of empath starseeds who are on this empath starseed journey. We've got palm tree, stability, sowing seeds of stability, of security and relationship, okay? Permanence, growth, endurance, flexibility. This is the nature of the new relationships that are coming in for us. They are stable. They feel secure. Our good old nervous system feels regulated. We feel good. We feel seen. We don't feel abandoned. Okay? We don't feel abandoned. Acts. Breakup, separation, stop the pattern, silent treatment, and abandonment. So there's going to be some breakups. There's going to be some breakups going on. There's going to be some axing of ties. And actually, I'm feeling the energy of Archangel Michael wanting to come in to support us with cord cutting and clearing. I like to say cord clearing and uprooting, because it's one thing to cut cords, but we need to get to the root of them. Okay? Kisses at the bottom of the deck. Unconditionally loving. Giving an affection and falling in love. This is... So there's going to be not only friendships in terms of support or community, there's going to very specifically be one-on-one intimate relationships that we are going to be aligning to. You need to make the intention, though. I cannot emphasize that enough, of your own divine free will. You need to make the intention of what it is moving forward that you want to align to. Is it this? They're directing me to point that back up again. This kind of relationship, you know, this kind of relationship, unconditionally loving, giving and receiving affection, falling in love, feeling like you're falling in love. I really feel that there's going to be a lot of starseed, different star seeds connecting, like the Hadarians, Venusians, the Pleiadians, very specifically coming in for this. Like more of us are going to be aligning with each other. That's the feeling that I'm getting. I'm going to end off this reading now. I want this reading to be 22 minutes on the clock, 2-2 again. I want to close out this reading and make this reading, it's a little bit more spunky than what I kind of usually do, and a little shorter, but the energy coming in is really specific for this particular reading, okay? So we've got the devil at the bottom of the deck, and this kind of came through the last live stream that we did, 15, the energy of the devil, understanding that at its higher octave. Remember that the devil mirrors the Lover's card. So a lot of transmuting of these energies, specifically I'm hearing illusions in relationships. Okay. Oh yeah. Look at what we got going on here. I feel like this is going to probably be some kind of an extended reading at some point. Stay tuned for that. We've got the Ace of Cups coming up with the World and the Six of Wands. Or is it the Six of Cups? Yeah, no, it's the Six of Wands. Look at that. Look at that beautiful imagery. What cycle are we closing out? The cycle of overgiving. We are moving into a new phase now, and these energies are supporting us in making sure our cup is full first. What does that mean to you? Because that phrase gets thrown around quite a bit. We need to get really specific, each and every one of us, about what that means to us individually. What does your cup being full mean first? You cannot give with an empty cup. Energetically, you cannot do that. We're ending that cycle. We're ending this cycle of overgiving, of our cups being completely drained by people who are on a journey and they're in a path where they cannot recognize the value that we bring to the table anymore. Okay? Because it matters. It matters. We need to really transmute these very lack-oriented ways of thinking that it means you're a bad person in some way, shape, or form if you're stopping giving even when you have nothing to give anymore. This concept, this idea needs to be transmuted. And you know what's really interesting is that Aquarius is the energy of the water bearer. filling that cup for ourselves. And it's also an energy here of honoring our uniqueness in that and the value that we hold, the energy that we hold. And that right now, for the timely aspect of this message, and whenever you find it, it's time to stop being in situations, in relationships where people continue to take without recognizing in any way your value and what you have to offer, without honoring that. Because I'm hearing that sacrilege. You can look at that as being something sacrilegious, right? 6 of Wands, victory. You know what's lovely about this image of this woman? Look at all the flowers she's got in her hand that she's giving, and how these people are appreciating what she's giving. This is the energy that we're being invited to move into, and that is available to us. Both timely in this eclipse sense, and timeless for whenever you find this message. I'm going to end it there. Thank you to the Venusians. Thank you to Spirit. I'm thanking each and every one of you for sharing your time and your energy with us in this space. If you'd like to work with me, the information for that is in the description box below. Stay tuned as we move forward to some changes to the channel. If you are an OG here and revisiting, part of the family, thank you for being here. And also stay tuned for the live streams. I'm going to be doing those ongoing moving forward. Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 p.m. if you are in Eastern Europe. I'm sending you so much love wherever you are here on beautiful Mama Gaia, in love and liberation, always.